Hello, everyone, and welcome to District 43 Education Series.
Masters. So by a show of hands, how many of you are just a little bit busy? How many of you in your club, how many people in your clubs are busy? Are they all, everybody's busy, right? That makes it really hard to make sure that our members are getting what they want, right? Because as soon as you walk out of that club meeting, you got other things to do. And we get busy, we get sidetracked, and sometimes we forget one of the most important things that we need to do with our clubs, that is train our new members. I'm sure we can all raise our hands to say that we have seen people come and go more quickly than we want them to, right? They come in, they might give a first speech, they might not. They might make it all the way through a path. Those are the ones that we want to keep forever. But what we have here for dedicated members is a way to help each and every club make sure that their members are getting the education they need to get into pathways. That's the biggest step. If you can't get them into pathways, then they don't know what to do next, right? It's not like we're handing them a manual anymore. They need to know how to progress through the program. So dedicated members is there to bridge that gap that we have in our individual clubs. In dedicated members, we can help 115 clubs at one time instead of every club doing it all on their own. Not only that, we can help clubs outside of our district, outside of our areas, etc. If you go to dedicatedtomembers.com, we have a scheduled sessions. Under scheduled sessions, every week we have a different session that your members can participate in. We have a pathway session almost every single week. We have meeting roles where you can send new members to learn how to perform all the different meeting roles. You want to use Free Toast Host, but not quite sure how to get started, or maybe you use it and you need a little more help. We've got a session for that. With the President's Mentoring Circle, all the club presidents can come, and it's a way to network with the other presidents just to learn more about what you can be doing as a president. We also promote our district's Members Matter sessions. So that way, if they're out there looking for things, they'll have a reminder we have Members Matter. If you look at here, there's all kinds of sessions that we have, mainly on Monday nights, but we do have them spread throughout the week too. If you have a club that needs just a little more help getting your members started in pathways or learning how to do meeting roles or whatever it is, dedicated members is there to help you with that issue that you may have at the moment. Don't let your new members walk away without getting fully engrossed in the program. We're there to help you get them fully engrossed in the program. Does anybody have any questions about dedicated members?
Is there a way that we can put a link to that on our home pages on our free hosts?
Yes, I actually recommend that your clubs do that. Put a link on your main page to say, for additional help or however you want to say it, they can go there.
When it comes to the program, when we look at the base camp manager, it's something that many people haven't looked at a lot. Many people don't understand. They run from it. There are some parts of it that are very simple, but very essential. Those are the ones I'm going to cover today. We could spend hours talking about it, but I'm going to cover a few of the basic points. Then if you have any questions about Base Camp Manager, please put them in the chat. We'll have a chat monitor read them at the end of the presentation, and we will go over the answers to those. If I don't know the answer, I'll ask Lou. She knows everything. First, we're going to go from the main website, toastmasters.org, to Pathways, select Go to Base Camp. You scroll down to the three little blue boxes. The one in the middle, everyone has their maroon box, Go to Base Camp. This login as Base Camp Manager is only available if the club you have selected, you are a president, vice president of education, or secretary in. If you're a member of more than one club, you can click the down arrow and select the club for which you are a president, vice president, or secretary. Then you have access to the login as Basecamp Manager button. That takes you to the Basecamp Manager files. The first one is pending requests. I'll very quickly show you how that works. If there's someone in your club that has finished a level electronically in the Pathways database, you will see them here. And you see Joshua Brenning yesterday finished a level 1 in presentation mastery. The first thing you do is check to make sure that they've completed their projects, their speeches through the Vice President of Education or through your agendas, as well as through the Pathways database. And Denise will show you how to look at that in the Pathways database a little bit later. Once you confirm that they've actually finished everything, this shows they've finished it in electronic form, but you have to make sure that they've done the speeches and the projects. Then you click the little green check mark, which is approve. If you have any comments you want to make, you can do that. And then you click the submit button. Once you do that, that's going to take him from pending approval to approved and complete. Pending requests is very straightforward. Just check to make sure they've done the work and approve it. Over here on the far right is manage your tutorials. This is basically your instruction manual for everything Basecamp. Here's an overview, path completed and print materials, how you work with the people who are using accessibility or printed materials, project information, resources, projects outside the club, level completions, and tracking progress. This is awesome, great tutorials to show you how to navigate through these. Since you can look at these on your own in your own time, we will not cover those today. The member progress is where all the charts are concerned. We came up at the beginning of our meeting about how to understand these charts. Denise will cover that shortly. I'm going to go back out to TI, and I'm going to come in as a member to show you some of the most common problems that people have. The biggest question that people bring to me in mentoring is, I have looked at all of my materials, I've completed all of my speeches, and I still can't get that 100% in Pathways. What am I doing wrong? They log in, go to Paths and Learning. The biggest problem that we have I can sit here at level 1 and say everything is done, but for some reason, it's not saying that I've completed it. I have them launch, and invariably, 90% of the time, when they launch into that level or that project, this is what shows up. They forgot to do the assess your skills after. If they do not do the assess your skills after, it will not complete. Now, if we come through here, read this information, I've already read it and done it, but I'm going to use the 4s for the sake of this training series. And then some of them, they get all that, but they forget to hit the submit button. Very minor detail, but essential detail that needs to be done. Once you hit submit, it gives you your groups together. Then you hit the congratulations page. Then you can close that one out. And there's your check mark. And you've got your 25% level completion done. 25% because there are 3 projects and a level completion. The completion is now a separate project. It used to not be. It was part of the lesson, but it is now. If they will make sure they've done that assess your skills after, that's 90% of the time what has gone wrong, or they forgot to hit the submit on the assess. Once you get that done, then their level is counted as complete.
We do have one question that fits right here, so I thought I would. If a member does just the opposite and they actually complete the post-assessment before they give their speech, is there a way to undo that step?
Once you have done the assessment, you can't undo it in the channel. However, for your own edification, you can go through, do the evaluation. These evaluations are a way to give feedback to TI about what's going on there. Once you're complete, the launch button is backed up. You click the launch button and you can go back to that assessment once everything logs in. Go to assess your skills after, and you can read all of these and reassess yourself. Give yourself new numbers based on what that, but once you've put them in here, they're not going to be available to change them in here.
As the base camp manager, can I make any changes or cancel that evaluation and ask them to redo it as the base camp manager?
No.
Okay,
Base camp managers do not have any access to change anything in their individual files. You can see their files, but you can't change anything in those files. Generally, when someone is submitting their level completion, it's showing that they've completed their electronic content. It's still up to the VPE to ensure that they've done the work. And you can contact that person and put the comments in the box as well to tell them what it is they've not done. Well, they finished the electronic content, but maybe they didn't finish that last speech, or they didn't get the last project done. You tell them what it is they need to finish in order to be able to complete the entire project. Now, something else that's very important, when you've completed that level completion in Pathways, the next question they say is, well, why is it not showing up on Club Central? Why isn't it on the dashboard? So we're going to go to Leadership Central and go to Club Central. The most important thing that you can learn about that is that Pathways database and Club Central database are two completely separate databases, and they do not connect at all. Okay, we're going to go to Capital Toastmasters. On the Club Central side, that's where you actually enter the educational awards. In Club Central, you click Submit Educational Awards. You select the member. You select the educational program. You review the award submission, make sure that it's correct, and then you click Submit Award. I'm not going to do that right now because Adrian still has one more speech to do in this level. But that's all it takes to enter this in Club Central. Once that's done, it will show up on the dashboard the next business day. The dashboard is not instant. It's upgraded once a day on business days in the morning. So you post it in Club Central, and then the next business day, you will see it on the dashboard. When you look at the dashboard, if you see a red box up here, that means it's not current. You go to the most recent one. And then you can look at your dashboard and see with Capital Toastmasters, see what's there, see if it's changed. You see there's still another level 3 that's needed here, or excuse me, one more level 2. When Adrian finishes that level 2, we can submit that one and they will have their 10th DCP point. But again, this shows up, see it says of 19 February and today's the 20th because all of the business on the 19th was posted early this morning. Of course, if you go to Free Toast, I'm sure everyone knows how to go to Free Toast and pull that information up.
But not all of our clubs use Free Toast Host.
Well, that's true. Some of them use the Easy Speak and the other program. Free Toast is the one that I'm familiar with. When you log in, go to meeting agendas. You click this little picture of a person here for meeting reports, meeting roll report. Do I want to select it for Adrian and just for the current year, run a download? I instantly see all the meeting roles that he has given, including speeches in this particular report. The club officers are able to look at the entire club. Now, if you go to the speech report, this one I like. You can go to the speech report, select current year, or you can select all. It'll actually go all the way back to the very first meeting that the club held in Free Toast Hosts. You run download. You can print it if you choose, or it'll also show you the date, the title, the path, and the project in which that was involved. That's a great way to use to identify whether or not the person is submitting their level 1 has actually done those 4 level 1 speeches. The only drawback to this is a person who's in multiple clubs, they won't all show right here. If they're just in one club, you can see the level 1, all 4 projects in level 1, you know they've completed level 1. If they're not here, then you're coordinating with that member to make sure that when they give a speech in another club, you're aware of it and know what's going on there. You just select all, and it'll create the list for the entire club. And you can scroll through each one and find out what they've done. This is a good way to look to see, well, who hasn't given a speech in a while? Why not? And then you get with that person and you encourage them to move forward. In just a few seconds, a few clicks, you can find out when the last time was they gave a speech.
Yes.
I'm gonna pass the lectern to Denise and let her share with us about the charts and graphs and what she does to improve hers.
So what I'm already there because it does take a minute for them to refresh, and I didn't want you to wait for that. But when you go into log into Basecamp and then you go to member progress, it will bring up these charts. And I've got a few of them brought up to share with you. When you come into them, give it a minute or two to get refreshed. If it doesn't refresh, you want to come over here to the options and click refresh, and then it will start showing you your information. There's also a button here that's kind of hidden. You can refresh at that level too if you need to. Give it a couple minutes because it does take some time to refresh. Once you're in here, you can see all of your members and where they are on their levels as it identifies here. I will be 100% honest with you. I don't know what these numbers mean, to be honest. They don't make sense to me, but it'll still give you an idea of what is going on. For example, you see several people here that have 3. They have completed their level 1. Michelle has completed 2 level 1s, so hers says 6. I have completed 5 level 1s, I think, so I don't know why it says 14 and not 15. I don't know.
Maybe you forgot to do the last assess your skills after.
Possibly, I have to go look. Maybe I did. So, and then you can see that Lucy has a 1 and Quentin has a 2, so they have not completed level 2. If I go down to level 2, the same names will appear, so you don't fall off of one list and get added to the next. You're also here, and again, it'll show everything. And as you scroll down, you'll see the different levels. And when you get to level 5, only those that are active in level 5 will show up. I think you basically get a point for starting level 5. You get a point for doing a project in level 5, I'm not sure, and a point for completing level 5. Like I said, I haven't quite figured out the math, but it does give you a general idea of where people are. If you go to level completions here, it will show you the ones that have been completed in the last 90 days. You can look at that. And I'm not going to go through all of these. This will also tell you by path. The other thing that I wanted to show you is if you wanted to see where someone was on their path, you could go to up here in the box, you search for that person's name, and then you pull up their name, and now you can see their profile. If you want to see the whole team, you can click on team and you can see everybody's names listed, and you can click on their links. Go to paths and learning there, and now you can see their path that they're on. If you open the curriculum, now you can see exactly what they see. You can't push any buttons for them. You can't do anything for them, but you can see. So as Dewey was mentioning earlier, a lot of people get stuck on that last step, right? Well, if someone's stuck on there, I can actually come out here and I can see that. I can see that they've done everything but click that. Or And if I click on view details, it's going to take me even into the next level. So now in this example, if I can see that they said that they finished persuasive speaking, but there's no blue dot, I'm going to guess it's because they didn't complete all those assessment questions. I can also tell, because another big one that people forget to do is they don't click on the level completion step the number of times you need to. And so I can come in here and I can say, hey, go click on this button 1 or 2 times, depends on where they're at. So it gives you a lot of visibility into where your members are. If someone hasn't completed a level in recently, and I'm thinking, hey, I think they should have, well, I can come in here and see that they're kind of stuck and things. And as I was telling Dewey, for my clubs, they are not done unless they completed it in pathways. I don't give them a pass and just keep nudging them along. They don't get any kind of credit till they've completed in pathways, because that's what they should be doing. And then when you celebrate that they've completed in pathways, that nudges somebody else to go, oh, I forgot to finish that. I need to go finish it. And then it just helps encourage people to keep moving through pathways.
I've had that problem come up in the past. What happens if someone has been a member of another club in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and then they join the new club and they're no longer a member of the old club?
Okay,
Their base camp was still the old club.
I got you. Okay, that's probably what's
They'll
going
have
on.
to go
then.
in individually by themselves and open up their
Okay.
pathways and choose your club as their base camp.
Okay, I got you.
Go to base camp,
Mhm.
and then right here, select your club. If there's more than one, it'll be there. The challenge
Right.
can be if they no longer remember that other club,
Mhm.
they may not have this option. You may have to have it done at TI.
Okay.
But if that member will come in here and select their club and change it to the one that they need to view it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, choosing this doesn't mean that if I've got Capital Toastmasters, that doesn't mean that the awards that I earn will be going to Capital Toastmasters. All this does is decide which set of club officers are able to see my content in the Pathways database.
Mm-hmm.
Each time I finish a level, I can choose which club to have that level sent to and notify the BPE of that club of that decision and present them the credentials showing that I've completed all the projects.
So if you go to base camp as an individual, not as a base camp manager, and then I think you click on your profile picture up here. And you go to my account, or if I had clicked here, if I clicked on my account instead of clicking on the picture, it would probably take me there. And now I can fill in my dates.
In order to have access to your DTM project in Pathways, you must complete the electronic content in the Pathways database for one complete path and for level 3 in a second path. Then your DTM project will unlock. The mentoring project is available once you finish your second level in your first path. That should pop up in your paths and learning section. If you finish level 2 in your first path, that mentoring project should pop up the first time. Once you've done it, you'll have to call TI and ask them to reinsert it if you want to redo it again. There's 2 different aspects of mentoring and pathways. The first one is Introduction to Pathways Mentoring, which is the last project in every level 2 in every path. That's where you give a presentation on when you were the protege and someone else was your mentor and what they learned from you. And of course, all the Pathways content is there to explain what that's like and how you can present that. The mentoring path is basically a free path. It's a shorter path than the others that's available to you, is unlocked once you finish level 2 in your first path. And that's where you mentor someone on a short project, and then you mentor someone on a 6-month period of time for all of their Toastmasters activities.
Thank you very much, Dewey. And I hope everyone here have learned a lot during the networking session and also in the past sessions. At the end of today's program, I do want to introduce what's coming up in our district. First, on the training side, this one is our one of the supplemental sessions of our winter club officer training. We have one more tomorrow night, Monday, February 21st, from 7 to 8 p.m. So a come and go session about contest. In the last 2 sessions, we had not many, a few leaders jump in, ask questions about club level and also district level contest. So if you have time or you know any of your members may have questions, please invite them to the session. Also, I'd like to invite our club growth director, Jackie, to introduce what events we have on the club growth side.
Thank you, Lou. Good afternoon, everyone. We have our Members Matter monthly meetup on Tuesday night. That is the 22nd of February, every last Tuesday of the month. And this month, we are going to take a dive into vision casting. This is D43 GPS to Distinguished Part 2. We started Part 1 last month with our President-elect, Matt Kinsey, speaking to us, and Part 2 is an idea or suggestion from our current president, Margaret Page, vision casting to distinguished. So we'll be talking about that. It's going to be a very casual session, very similar to what we're doing here today in terms of what does it look like, and what does it look like envisioning your clubs in the distinguished space, and then how do you get there? So it's really a casual, laid-back discussion for everyone to think about what actions should they need to take in the next 4.5 months. Not even in half now, a quarter, 4 months and a quarter to distinguish. So that's what's coming up on the club growth side. We are in the midst of our renewals. We have concluded our first incentive, early bird incentive, on February 15th, moving into the second part, February 15th through March 15th, for those first 10 clubs that renew with 10 members or more. They will receive $30 NTI dollars. So that's what's happening immediately. And then we'll move into March, where we will have our March Madness incentive. And that is 5 over your base, adding 5 members over your base during the month of March. So everything moving forward will be membership focused, and we're going to talk about and work on different strategies to get there. That's what's happening in club growth. And I am excited to share that we are number 2 in the world for member payments. So that's really exciting. And hopefully we can stay there and on top and move on up to that top space. But it takes a collective effort with all of us, making sure that we're thinking outside of the box. Back to you, Lou.
Thank you very much, Jackie, and such exciting news. We have Denise is not only the founder of Dedicated to Members program, but also one of our past district directors. So I want to invite Denise to give us some final words.
Well, thank you all for attending today. VP of Education and Base Camp Manager is one of the most important roles that we have in our Toastmasters clubs, because it is what we're making sure our members are moving through the educational program that we have. If they're not moving through the educational program, then are they learning? And they're here to learn. And if they're not learning, a lot of times they step away. And so this is a very important process that we have. And I'm glad you guys came to learn how to become a better base camp manager. I hope if you have any further questions, dedicatedtomembers.com will help you with that. Join one of our sessions. Dewey has a Monday night session every Monday night. Even if you have a question about a topic that's not on the schedule for that night, show up. Our members will help you with whatever questions you have. We're here to serve the Toastmasters with whatever needs they have, because we want to make sure our Toastmasters get the most that they can out of Toastmasters.